Hello again. I want to say something about composition because I wanted to compose. I wanted two things. I wanted to express myself and I wanted to be famous. That's what good Catholic boys who feel inferior want. The first two pieces I composed, and I'd say Seek the Lord, the first one was quick, it wrote itself. 15 minutes, start to finish. And I had to figure out how to put notes on the page. I didn't know that much music. Trust in the Lord was the second one. Both of those came from the place of joy and delight and happiness. The other place that I've discovered that produces, that percolates and is the source of music is education, study, and suffering. I studied, first of all, by watching people. So when I was in St. Louis those 3 years at Fuse Memorial, we had some of the greatest presiders and preachers, and they were so engaging. I just found that marvelous. And so I study them, like, what makes these guys tick? And especially since Foley and Kavanaugh and Dufford were ordained 72, 73, they were, when we started the other recording projects, they would preside at Mass. And I learned from them doing their practice as much as their words. And again, it was about engaging with the sacred and engaging with one another. The other way I studied was I went to, in '76, went to Berkeley, California to study theology. Sister Sandra Schneider's of the Immaculate Heart of Mary community was my advisor and my main mentor in Scripture. I thought, you know, it's a little prosaic. I'm not going to do the liturgy thing. Let these other guys do it. I want my own niche.
Stand aside, everyone. I take large steps. Hail Miles Gloriosus.
And so my niche was going to be Scripture. So 3 or 4 courses in the Gospel of John, a couple classes in hermeneutics, Hans Gadamer, Paul Ricoeur. It just opened up so much for me. So that in the midst of suffering, in the midst of loss and disappointment and disillusionment, I could be lost with the Scriptures. One time I remember my good buddy Winiarski had been in the process of leaving the Society of Jesus. He left, and I was on retreat. It was about 1982 or so, just before he got married, and I was on retreat in Berkeley. We had lunch together, and then his girlfriend picked him up, his fiancée actually. And it just, I went back in to pray, and I said, what the hell is going on? And I cried and I railed against God.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
And saying, like, what have you done to my life and stuff? And it was as if a word came and said, well, what are you going to believe? You're going to believe what's in the Word, or are you going to believe this crap that's going on? So I flipped open the Scriptures, and it was Isaiah 43, the whole part about you are precious in my eyes, and I love you. And though you walk through the fire and all that stuff, you won't be harmed. Well, that was partly true. I think I was harmed. But be that as it may, I learned to experience God. And in those years of loss, I wrote 2 pieces of music. In the fall of 1977, busiest fall of my life, and I was in the pits at that time, the song Jesus the Lord was there. And it hasn't happened before or since. I knew the entire song. I knew the chord structure, I knew what was going to happen, I knew the lyrics, I knew the melody. And what was remarkable is I was so busy at school, probably midterms or some dang thing, I didn't have time to write that stuff down. So 5 days later, I finally got some music paper, and I was right there. And then the next summer, I wrote Lift Up Your Hearts. And that was the drum part that was so insistent. And powerful and both joyful and angry. Just came out. So the study that opened up the scriptures and the suffering that opened up my life have been significant, and I believe not only influenced the music I've written, some of it anyway, it also opened up depths that I didn't think I wanted to face 40 years ago. And I can do a little bit of that now. That's what's so amazing. So the vocation within a vocation of composing and leading music and planning liturgies and preaching and then presiding, it's the study and the suffering that has made all the difference, it feels like to me anyway. No BS zone, except I got plenty of that. So that's what I want to say about the music experience to this point, and really appreciate the chance to share these stories. Thank you. Bye now.